There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
We've got a double whammy for you guys today. This showcase will present two new brands that you may not be aware of that are now available in Canada. The brands in question, Elektra Mobile Audio and Canasound. This one on CMA Showcase, and it starts now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and on these showcases, we like to bring you guys news of new product that have become available in the market. You may or may not have heard of these brands. Elektra Mobile Audio and Canasound, two brands of the same company, have an interesting history, and now they're available in Canada, and we're going to find out what the buzz is all about by first bringing in our special guest today. He's been on before, but maybe to a different capacity, and he's actually one of our very best fabricators that we have in Canada. His name is Bryce Lewis, and for today, he is the Western Canadian brand manager for Elektra and Canasound. Hey,
morning.
How are you doing, Bryce?
Great.
Well, you know, we've had you on before, obviously from a little bit different of a capacity. You know, you're very well known in the fabrication side of things with Last Resort Fab. But today, well, technically you're wearing a Last Resort hat, but you're wearing a different kind of hat, shall we say, no pun intended. Yeah. Because we're talking about a brand that is relatively new to the Canadian market. And right here on CMA, we're going to kind of introduce it and go through the whole lineup. So let me start by first asking you, can you give us a little bit of a background check? Who is this brand? What's it all about? Where is it coming from?
Well, Elektra and Canasound, like I mentioned, it's like Toyota and Lexus. You've got a brand within a brand. You know, you've got your meat and potatoes, and then you've got your higher end flagship. So the Elektra brand started originally in Trinidad with Ariane and Jonathan. They started back there. They're big SQ competitors. Ariane had a history in working for other audio companies in the past, and they got together. They actually met in the lanes SQ, you know, running sound quality and competing against each other, and they met there and they started the company Elektra. And then you know, they wanted a better life for their family, and they decided they should move to Canada. So they moved both their families to Canada, and in doing so, they really wanted to take advantage of a few things that we have in Canada. You know, the GAR government actually does support, you know, local products, and so there's some advantages there. And also, you know, Canada, you know, we're known for our giant forests, and you know, we have some of the best materials. You know, Paradigm, I think, is one of those brands that bragged about the fact that they use Canadian lumber in their enclosures. And so, looking long term, they wanted to get into manufacturing and building enclosures and stuff. It made sense to move to Canada and have access to the good materials that we have here. So that the Canasound's family of products was born, obviously with Cana in the name and the maple leaf in the logo. It obviously was the intention, and they started the brand actually before they even got here, because unfortunately they decided to move right around COVID. So they took a couple of years longer than they wanted to get here, but they got here, and they you know, they landed, and it cost a lot more money and stuff to get here, but they stayed committed, and they pushed through, and their families are here now, and they're both in Western Canada here. So
Amazing. A really unique story. I'm happy you shared that with us, Bryce. Now let's talk about Bryce Lewis. What is your role or your association when it comes to these brands? Can you help us define your involvement?
Well, actually, we first met them because they are both judges in sound quality, and they help with the all the sound competitions from Manitoba right to BC. So they're around. They've been a lot of shops. I met them at one of our shows. The first time I met them when we hosted our first Sound Off, and when we first opened last year. And so we met them. We saw the products, and honestly, at first I didn't pay that much attention. Not no attention. I just I was busy that day, and I finally got a chance to halfway through the day to wander over. They had a little booth set up, and they had brought two of their demo vehicles here, and I had listened first to the SPL vehicle they had brought, and blew me away. And then the sound quality vehicle was even better. So then I really was vested, and by the end of the day, we had started our process of making a deal. So it happened pretty quick. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Things can happen when you get impressed by something, and obviously, someone with your experience as well as you've worked with so many top level projects and brands. So it's interesting to hear that it was something new that caught your attention. So let's now kind of segue that into the business opportunity here. Dealers are tuning in. They might be curious, what is this Elektra brand? Why is Bryce talking about it? Why do you feel there's a real opportunity for dealers to get involved with Elektra and Canasound right here, right now?
Well, you know what, like especially as smaller boutique stores, but in Canada in general, we all business owners, we all really try to enforce shop local. During COVID, the big online retailers, especially the ones without the brick and mortar, the big online guys, they had stock. I don't know how many times I had customers I couldn't sell a head unit to, but they could go online and buy it on one of the other online retailers, and we all felt it, and we all continue to feel it, that we're getting bullied right now. So I think that now is the time to really help a Canadian brand and a Canadian product. And I think that also we have inventory. I have every SKU that we sell in stock, ready to ship. We have lots of most of them. So it's a great opportunity to get an order and get everything you order. If you place an order today, there wouldn't be anything I couldn't fulfill. So that is a good opportunity for dealers as well. So
that's some reassuring news for sure. Okay, so here's the layout of today's session. We have you in here. We're going to talk about, obviously business opportunities and break things out. But you've prepared a video. Can you tell us what we're about to see in this video?
Well, because Elektra and Canasound together make up a really full lineup of products, I broke it down and kind of give a quick little rundown. I get a little technical, like I always do. I love to geek out on audio. I am a bit of an audio geek, so there are some technical specs in there to kind of especially highlight how good the product is. And I really want to, kind of hands-on. I like to have props when I talk, so I want to show everyone what the products are and kind of the breakdown of the two families and what's included in each one. So
amazing. So we're talking about a full family rundown. All the categories, all the segments, both Elektra and Canasound, correct?
Yeah, even including a head unit. So yeah, we have top to bottom. Yeah.
So it's really a complete line.
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, without further ado, you and I are going to hang back, and when this video is done, we'll come back. We'll discuss a couple of the items that we learned about, and we'll take it from there. Let's roll the tape.
Perfect.
Hey everyone, thanks for giving me a chance to introduce Canada's, I think, first electronics company in quite a while, a car audio company here, run out of Western Canada, out of Alberta here. My name is Bryce Lewis. I handle some of the training, the distribution part, and the online support, and also do the pre-manufactured enclosures that we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, Jonathan and Ariane, the two owners, live here in Western Canada and Alberta as well. And the brand Elektra and the brand SQ, which is similar to Toyota and Lexus, where we've got your basic, your meat and potatoes, and then your higher end stuff is under the Canasound moniker. So Canasound and Elektra, same company, but just the same sort of thing. As Canasound is our SQ line, Elektra is our subwoofers, amplifiers, and a lot of our interconnects. And the SQ line, the Canasound, is going to be expanding in next year. But that being said, we have a ton of products ready to ship today. So why don't we start and talk about our meat and potatoes, the thing that really drives the company, the woofers. The woofers are fantastic. All the woofers feature dual tool or dual floor configuration, so you're able to always get the right impedance you need, whether you're running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or more woofers. All have copper coils, all have supercharged magnets, all have stitched tinsel leads. All really important things to make sure that the subwoofer is going to sound as good as possible. Copper coil is going to lower your FS, make a little better, warmer sound, better heat, long-term heat. The stitched surrounds appear on all the woofers, all the way down to 6.5. And like even this little guy, he's still got stitched tinsel leads, which is always going to give you your best sound. We all know a few companies that are guilty of putting foam on the back of the cone to keep the tinsel leads from rattling. And there's a couple problems with that. We all know the tinsel leads that aren't stitched through the surround do move exponentially more and do fail and eventually break off or rattle against the cone, causing unwanted mechanical noise. So the fact that Elektra has focused on quality and well-built, well-priced products really is what attracted me to the product, and there's a few features we'll touch on. The line goes all the way from a 6.5 to a 12-inch in the SW, and then the reference line has an 8, a 10, a 12, and a 15. This is the 10 from the reference line. This is the 15, the mighty reference 15. This guy's 1500 watts RMS, all underrated product. Whether it's the amps, subs, or speakers, everything is underrated. For a value-based brand, we all turned to value-based brands, B brands if you want to call them, during COVID to help support our stores and keep us open. But you know what the problem with that is? False advertising. Those big numbers on those boxes that don't mean anything, all they do is mislead your customers and they make you look bad as a store owner. So all the Elektra line is rated in RMS. All the woofers are underrated. All the amplifiers overperform what's on the box. They will always do at least rated power, lots of times better than 20 or 30%. We have lots of instances of the reference 8 that's rated for 750 watts. Guys running 150, 200 watts more and having zero issues long term. So everything's underrated. This little 6.5 is 2.5 is 250 watts RMS, 2-inch coil, and the rest of the line in the SW is a 2.5-inch coil. So the SW line stamp basket, very meat and potatoes, have a very warm, natural sound. For your nostalgia customer, your old school hip hop customer, guys my age, that we listen to, Dad 95, thinking back to high school, is going to be that old school sound. But you know what? They do perform in new school applications. They do play all EDM, but they do have a little higher FS, giving them that more old school sound. But that being said, we have a lot of customers that compete in SPL and these guys, and they still do very, very well. The reference line has a few little benefits. It is a cast basket, stitched sleeves, copper coil like I mentioned before, double stitched surround, paper press pulp cone. This guy here, he has machine screws all the way around the lip, holding the spiders down. That's going to give you, in the event that you're in our climate, up here in Canada, we have a lot of stuff. Temperature changes, our interior of our vehicle in Western Canada goes from -40 to +40, all in the same time. So it's really important that we have a mechanical fastener helping that glue stay put. Because if we rely on glues, especially in high excursion, high output woofers, first time it's cold and that customer plays that song and his car's warm, but his trunk's still cold, he might break that epoxy bond and he's going to lose his spider and lose his subwoofer. And for us, it's really important that we have mechanical fasteners on everything. So that is a quick breakdown from the SW and the reference line. This gives you a really good starting point. Price point wise, the SW, this guy starts at $144, and in the SW line all the way up to $199 for the 12 retail. Now in the reference line, we go from 300 watts on the 8-inch. This is not the SW8. The reference 8 is quite a bit larger. It goes all the way up to this big 15. This guy's $450 Canadian. So. And all products are in stock, ready to go. We have tons of inventory. We have more inventory coming. So, no waiting for orders, no waiting for shipping. Everything's here in Canada, ready to roll. This is the Canasound line. So this is our SQ line. We have two big products right now. The line will be expanding, but with these two great products, it's fine that we only have these guys because it's not only these. These are fantastic offerings that really help build a brand and build a store, and really show what the company is about. So this is the three-way set. So you can tell by this beautiful basket, real carbon fiber cone, beautiful rubber surround. If you look at the back, voice full vent on the back to help increase longevity and reduce stress by unwanted debris. Binding posts on the mid-range. And just a beautiful, well-presented speaker. Comes in this beautiful case. All the three ways come in these metal cases. Really helps the presentation. When we're starting off with a new company, first impressions, you only get one of them, right? So we get a chance to show the customer that we value our product. We think it justifies being shipped in this beautiful gun-style enclosure case with the foam and the laser cut inserts. It comes with this large crossover. Now you can run these guys active, and I'll talk about that in a second. But that being said, it is a quality crossover, large components. We're talking about really nice roll-offs, a little bit of phase correction in there too to help make these sound the best they very can. Now in Western Canada, we have been competing with the Canasound line in SQ, and early on in the year we had the highest scoring vehicle in Western Canada. So it really does actually, the proof is in the pudding. It is a competition brand. I can't stress this enough. Jonathan and Ariane are at all the shows and all the competitions, and they're competing every weekend. And these are two gentlemen that started a company, and there's not a lot of owners out there in the competition lanes on every weekend. And I think that's a really important thing, is that is how you have a strong foundation, because failures show up in competition. And if your product is there every weekend, then you know where the weak points are and you fix them. And that being said, these products don't have weak points. This tweeter is actually it's a European-based design tweeter, not from Asia. Very well built, machine billet style, neo structure, silk soft dome. This guy here is more like you would see in some of the very high-end European brands. That being said, a lot of good tweeters have an FS of 1500 hertz, 1200 hertz. This little guy has an FS of 827 hertz. And the consistency in in-house testing that I've done on my machine is that they are all testing between like 820 and 850. Like for a tweeter to have that kind of sound quality and that kind of engineering that goes into it, you don't get a tweeter with an FS below 900 without some proper engineering and some proper build. It doesn't matter who you are, it's a properly built tweeter. It sounds amazing. It does produce a decent amount of volume, but it is an SQ-based tweeter. It isn't necessarily like a pro audio horn or something like that. It's a nice, clean sounding tweeter. And this little mid, he's just so cute. He's so well built, well engineered. It's still a cast basket in a 3-inch. It's aluminum. It's not a composite. It's not plastic. It's not going to break on you. Carbon cone, bureau surround. It does have the terminals, not the binding posts, but you know what? As a speaker this small, that's fine. This little guy has an FS of 120 hertz. 120 hertz in a 3-inch. That means that you can get more of your vocals down low with the tweeter and more of your mid vocals with this guy. The lower we can play our 3-inch and the lower we can play our tweeter, the more even the sound's going to be. And it just goes to show the engineering. You don't end up with a 3-inch with 120 hertz FS without some engineering, right? And this is the coaxial. It's based off of the same component set, so it comes with the tweeter. Very similar design, and it has basically the same mid with an open center pole. This guy here retails at $199. But how can you go wrong with a composite-based speaker that sounds very much like a high-end, very expensive speaker? And you know what? The truth being told, this guy could sell for double that, but people would still pay it. But with the brand being new to Canada, we are trying to be aggressive with the pricing to get it out there. We're trying to build a brand, and it's really important that we have a value-based brand in Canada. It's still quality, and it still does its rated things. It does what it's supposed to do. So that is the speaker lineup from the Canasound line, part of the Elektra Canasound family. And this is our last offering here. What we have here is our source unit, our amplifiers, our interconnects, and our wire. Like I said, it is a full family product. We go right from the head unit to right through everything to the interconnect. I think it's really important to stress that everything in the lineup is built for a reason. It is a value-based brand, but that being said, it's not cheap. It's properly engineered. It has a lot of really key features that make installs quick and easy. It helps make the install bay money. The faster we get the cars in and out, the faster we get paid, and that's really important. And these products will help you make money in the shop, and I can explain that in a second. So I'll start with the most basic thing, wire. So our wire, now before you guys roast me, it is copper-clad aluminum. Now, just bear with me for a second. Copper-clad aluminum does have its place. There are lots of great offerings for pure copper wire out there. We are a value-based brand. It's really important for us to have an offering to help build the brand. That being said, this is 30% copper. It's not just a light plating. It's 30% copper by mass. This is a well-built, it's a nice flexible jacket, nice bright color, goes with the brand. It is a great product, but a few things about this. Most PCA wires are undersized. This is an actual Stinger brand ferrule. This is right from Stinger. If you look how tight this fits on, it's almost annoying how tight it goes on. It is exactly to US spec full gauge. It is not undersized. It's not all rubber. This is a proper amount of wire. And I myself would much rather have my customer run a full-sized CCA and go bump them up to a 0 gauge than to sell him an overpriced 4 gauge and be short current flow. This will still outflow a 4 gauge wire. No questions asked. Now, for those of you, because we are in Canada, we do have corrosion issues with wire. We've all dealt with it. For those dealers that are interested in speaking with me, I can walk you through a proven solution that we have to keep the corrosion down so you can use this wire and understand with confidence that it is not going to come back to haunt you. We have come up with a great solution to help prevent any corrosion issues or concerns you may have without affecting the wire and without adding a bunch of time to the install. So we have thought that through and we understand. So that being said, we have other offerings in the future, but right now we have this wire in stock. The price is amazing, and we can fulfill anything you need. Now we have the dead sound, which I'm going to cut to here. And the dead sound allows us to, it's a great double fitted, extra thick foil jacket. And it has the great embossing that you just saw. The embossing allows you to go around corners without creasing as easy, and it also allows when you go into corners, it gives a place for the creases to go. When you go over a round object, it allows it to expand and flow, reducing the amount of creasing you have and better contact. And, dead sound doesn't do its job if it has air pockets. So that is why we have this great product, a great bright gold color. It installs well, it shows well, and the pricing is extremely aggressive and a good place for you guys to make some extra money. Price it as you feel fit, and sell it with install. And the problem with dead sound, it is expensive, and lots of times we find we're shorting our install bay on install dollars because we're trying to get it into the deal. And this way we can get the dollars on the install and sell a good quality, butyl, 100% butyl dead sound with a thick aluminum jacket, and have without stealing from Peter to feed Paul. We don't have to steal from the install bay to keep the sale going. We can keep everyone happy and make some money in the shop, and that's really important. Nickel-plated brass on all the fuse holders. This is our large A&L fuse holder. Nickel-plated brass. It has a nice deep contact. It's machined right to the end, allowing a huge amount of wire to go into that. And it actually has a machined lip, so our wire does fit flush inside here without having strands stick out. This fuse holder has a lot better quality plastic than I've seen from a lot of offshore fuse holders. It stands up to heat, and it doesn't crack. A lot of these fuse holders, they all look the same, but the plastic matters. And this is a proper pressure cast plastic, and it is going to last. So we have this in both waterproof and what I like to call an indoor fuse, which is very similar to the square chassis. And we have this in 4 gauge and 0 gauge. We have full 4 gauge wire and 0 gauge wire. This is the RCA. We have them in all sizes. Gamma corrected twisted RCA. You know, it is a meat and potatoes RCA. It is a simple, not a ton of special technology trying to upsell you guys. That being said, it does have clearly marked ends. They're distinct colors. We have them in all male to female wise. We have from all the way from 1.5 foot all the way up to 17 foot. And then included in the pre-manufactured wire kits that we have. The wire kits are super affordable. They're multi-channel and 4-gauge and 0-gauge install. We have your power core ones too for doing large installs. Right now, we're going to move on to the amps. So these are the amplifiers. And actually, before we do the amps, I'm going to touch on one thing I did forget. It's really important. Our head unit here that we sell is a price point head unit. This guy here. But you know what? It has a few quick features that I'm going to run over. I mean, it's a Bluetooth head unit. It's mechless. There's lots of options. You know, around the $100 mark, there's a ton in this market. That being said, this does have a full adjustable parametric EQ. You know, that is important that we can individually adjust up and down. I believe it's 18 band EQ inside of it. And is individually adjustable. So this does have a full DSP chip. It doesn't do timeline, but it does have full parametric EQ. It has great pre-outs. It has outperformed every head unit that we've had in our board for pre-out voltage. You know, and it's rated. They rated the pre-out voltage at 40 hertz, not 2K or 3K to cheat. Like I said, Elektra doesn't. They underrate, not overrate, and that means that it always performs better than your customer expects and better than you want. So. It has RGB lighting, is adjustable. It has fast charge 2 amp phone charging. It has a USB reader that will read all your music, and it has a dedicated SD card. So you can have your music in here and keep the door closed if you like a nice clean look, and an aux cord on the front. And that being said, you know, other than that, it does have a physical volume knob, which a lot of customers do prefer. I know I prefer a volume knob. It's quicker to adjust. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. The Bluetooth is super clear. Actually, we have this in our demo vehicle that I drive just about every day. And, you know, the comments I have is actually, you know, for the price point for a front-mounted microphone on the face, it actually sounds great. We don't really have much concerns about noise. My car's loud as hell because they put stupid exhaust on it because I'm a teenager at heart. And, you know, you can still hear. So it's a great product. It works really well. Oh, and another thing, most value-based units that we see in the market, you see a lot of the single subwoofer pre-out. So you're automatically adding a wide connector that you have to either give away because you forgot to put in the sale, or you're adding a part that the customer's asking why they have to pay for this part. This has 6 true pre-outs, so you do have dual sub, which a lot of the value-based brands don't have. So, and it does come with a wireless remote as well. So, you know, for the price point, it's hard to beat, and it performs better than the pre-outs are cleaner, and you have more voltage than anything else. The subwoofers here, the amplifiers here, we have a 5-channel rated at 1100 watts, driven on all channels to 2 ohm. This guy has been shown to actually on turn probe to dyno closer to 1500. So this guy clip lights on every channel. So your front, your rear, and your sub all have clip lights. All the amps have clip lights except for the big SPL guy because we expect to install this with proper tools. This guy we'll talk about in a second. But our 5-channel, 1100 watts produces real power in the sub channel. It's 125 into 4. And then you get the remainder of the 600 watts on the sub channel. So this guy actually does really perform well. Great size. Physically, it's a great size for a 5-channel. We have good crossovers on the side. We do have an adjustable sub harmonic, and we do have adjustable crossovers on the sub. It isn't just switches; they're actually adjustable dials. And we go all the way up to 400 hertz on the high pass on this guy, and then so you can actually and bass knob. Comes with a bass knob. We're a novel idea. So all the amps come with bass knobs, except for the 4-channel. Okay? So all the amps come with bass knobs. You don't have to sell. You don't forget to put in a package and give it away like a lot of the accessories. This way it comes in and everyone's happy. So then we have this guy here is a 1200 watt. Again, produces more like 1500 watts RMS. Makes this power at 1 ohm. And this guy here, again, great power. Pretty clean design. I mean, all the amps in the entry-level line, they do match. And Again, we have really deep terminals, so we're able to get like over an inch of wire inside that terminal, and they are 45 degrees, so they do lock in and provide less slippage. All the terminals are like that, except for on the big guy. And yeah, so again, clip light on this guy. So what I want to touch on is, you know what, if you have new install staff, or you're training people, or you even have experienced staff, the less time I have to go to my toolbox to go get tools, the better we're going to do on the install, and the more money we're going to make. So this guy, the clip light comes on not at 1% THD like a lot of clip lights. All these amps, the clip light comes on at 0.01. So you get either some extra headroom, some cheap insurance, or you know what, or you can set to hard clip, which comes on a brighter clip light, and that guy, you know, that's 1% THD like a lot of clip lights are. So this guy gives you a little headroom, and all the clip lights on the amplifiers, they do come out at 0.01 THD, not 1% like a lot. So that it gives you a little insurance. It also allows for a little cleaner sound. So so we go from the 1105 channel, 1200 monoblock, 800 monoblock, and the 800 monoblock and the 4 channel both share the same chassis. So the 800 monoblock produces more like 1,000 watts at 1 ohm. Again, same design, same terminals. And the 4 channel, it produces about 125 by 4. You know, it's rated 500 watts RMS. It does at least 600. No questions asked. It's driven to 2 ohms on all channels. It is bridgeable. You can do tri-mode with it. So, you know, the product and the amplifiers, super clean, super install. Now, if you notice our new logo, this will be on some of the products moving forward. So if you have some questions about there's some deviations in the logo, you know, it's a great brand, and I felt that it needed a little freshen up, and what better way to welcome the owners to Canada than giving them a little makeover, right? So in the future, look for the new logo. And this guy here, this is the 4500, Korean design, very, very well protected amp. All of these amps, in fact, have great protection. I had a customer that self-installed. He didn't know what to do with a series subwoofer. He wired series and parallel at the same time, dead shorting the amp on the 5 channel. He drove from his house to here playing music the whole time. Came here, I disconnected the wires, boom, it popped out, protect just like that. So, you know what, like the product is resilient. It's tough for Canadian climate. It has great components, oversized capacitors, oversized transistors. They're overbuilt, and to do that on purpose, so they're built tough, so you don't have to deal with warranty. We've had great luck with ours. We had 0 returns on our product so far. Anything we have sold has left. The only time they came back was to upgrade, which is what you want. This guy here, the big monoblock, he makes 4,500 watts RMS. He makes more like 5,000. Driven to 1 ohm, makes all his power. Not strappable, so you're not going to look for that. But we do have, you know, dual 2 and dual 4 options, so we have options to run these however you want to run them. But yeah, this big monster here, very well built, has really great circuitry for throttling. Like, we know all Korean amps are bulletproof. This amp is probably going to run 20 years from now. The Korean designs are just so efficient. They work so well. They have such a great warm sound too. The bass sounds better. But this guy here, what I really like about him is the throttling abilities. We have a customer that's running a 60 amp stock alternator on the stock size battery, and now does the amp perform like it should? No, but it does throttle us back. It doesn't hurt the car, and it doesn't hurt the amp. We have. It's not a great situation, but you know what? It does perform. So that being said, you know, this is our monster. This goes with our reference subwoofers. We run this with you know, multiples of the 8s under the seat, or the 10s or the 12s in 3s, or the 15s and 2s. So this will run a pair of 15s, 3 12s, 3 10s, and 4 8s. So this is a one-stop, not a one-trick pony, but this is a one-stop. You only need one of these to make some big bass. So we have a guy creeping in 150 decibels with just one of these amps, and not a great electrical system. So, you know, a really, really well-built amplifier that is going to leave your store with smiles, and they're not going to come back with frowns when it breaks, because it's not going to break on you. So yeah, that's the lineup. Oh, one thing I want to touch on, your basic, you know, everyone's got distribution blocks. Is this a well thought out? It has a flow through for a high wattage, and then it's got fused for our mid-range. So when you do a multi-channel, or say you're doing one of these amps with a few of the 4 channels, it allows you to flow your power through, so you're not throttling this amp with double fusing. And then the mid-range amps do have individual fuses, or if you want to use accessories, you can do that. And then it does have a ground distribution. It has a really nice natural flow. It does make for a neat install. I do like it. All the 4 gauge come out this way. the zero flows through this way, and then you've got your dual zero for your grounds here. So that it's a great design. And we have these great terminals. I don't know, it's a terminal, who cares, right? But it's extra thick, nice copper. Now, I will say you need a hydraulic crimper for these. The wall thickness on this is over, it's just about 2 mils. Actually, it's a little bit over 2 mil. This guy here, you're gonna need a hydraulic crimper. But, it's beautiful. You get this laser and etched heat shrink that we have too. We have ceramic fuses. We have line level converters. We have a full line. So, and if there's anything that you think we're missing, let us know. I mean, we're a new company and we're looking for opportunities. And we're turning to the Canadian dealers to help support Alberta, help support Canada, and the brands speak for themselves. So, thank you for your time, guys, and really look forward to answering any questions. Feel free to let me know. We do have a super busy weekend, so if you want to let me know on Monday, start inboxing here, start emailing. We'll get back to them as soon as we can. Thank you for your time.
So Bryce, the one thing I'm going to say out of the gate is you have obviously taken the time to dissect every last detail, every last specification, and that really came through in that presentation. What I was not aware of is how complete of a line that we were actually talking about. Let's first talk about the Electromobile line, because that seems to be more like a point of entry product, right? So when it comes to that, this you called it meat and potatoes. What do you feel are some of the real standouts within that line that the dealers need to know about?
Well, I mean, the amplifiers have been super reliable, and they make more than rated power. Some of them make more than 20 or 30% more than rated. And that's one thing I want to stress, is that anytime we have a product that's cost effective and helps us get into an entry level build, that customer on a budget, that you still need to rely on something reliable. During COVID, we really got to remind ourselves why certain brands went away, and they kind of popped their head up in COVID because they had stock, but we started to remember the problems that come with those brands. And this isn't one of those brands. The architecture, the amplifiers, the design of the speakers, just mechanical fasteners wherever they could put them to make sure they didn't have failures. So the reference line, the reference 8 is a sub that we lean on personally heavy here because we're in Alberta. We have a lot of pickup trucks. It does still fit in a lot of vehicles. So the reference 8 has 750 RMS, very conservative. I put quite a bit more to them than that, and we have no issue. I had a customer with our Ram enclosure that we'll see later that has 3 8s under the seat of the new 1500, the new generation of flat floor Rams. We have 3 of those 8s, and he works in the US and drives. So he drove 18 hours straight, and he said he beat on it the whole way, and not one issue, not one little spec. I had another customer who chewed through, several high-powered offerings. The 8 inches there are a lot of 8s out there, and he chewed through a bunch of the larger 8-inch offerings, and yeah, no problem. So the amplifiers and the subs, definitely, you always get your money's worth. There's no doubt in my mind that they perform dollar for dollar better than anything else. So that is a thing. But that being said, real quick, the SW subs, the entry-level subs, again, they're underrated. So if you put the power to them rated, you'll never have an issue. You put a little more power to them, they'll just perform a little better and still not have issues.
So I did a little bit of digging. I did some homework, and I started finding some videos of guys that were being putting this type of gear in their vehicles, and I was quite impressed with the type of excursion those Elektra subs were getting. I mean, just visually, you know what I mean? Not being there, of course, hearing the sound, but just from a visual perspective, they certainly look like they can pound. The other question I had for you is, in your own words, Bryce, I mean, you've played with a lot of different gear, right, in your career. How would you best describe the sound or tonality of this equipment?
Well, I mean, like I said, the SW subs do have sort of an old school sound. Because they have a supercharged magnet and a low X-Max, they have very good control. And that copper coil warms it up a little bit. So they have a very warm, tight, clean sound that's very sellable. It is a very sellable sounding subwoofer. That being said, my brother, Blaine Lewis, he's been in the industry a long time too, and we've worked lots. He hates the sound of high excursion woofers. He hates the sound of a big puffy surround subwoofer. There's a lot of them out there, and lots of times that surround is just for show, and they have a certain like kind of lazy sound to them. And he when we did the 888 enclosure, we came up with the 888 reference that was the best use of airspace in that truck, and that we'd have the best outcome. When he first listened to it and finished, he said, "Man, I wanted to hate it, and it sounds so good. I love the sound of that sub." And then my girlfriend Ashley, who's a musician and very talented that way and has amazing ear, and she's like, "Okay, we're putting those 8s in my car." Enough said. That's it. So, everyone hears them, loves them. First time I heard them, I loved them. But yeah, it's that aspect of it. The sound of the reference line, because they are supercharged, huge control. They do sound amazing. So, yeah,
very, very cool. Okay. You talked about the accessories. We talked about subwoofers. We talked about amplifiers, big power, underrated. But you also mentioned enclosures. So I think we have a video coming up on that. Can you give us a little bit of background on the whole enclosure deal?
Well, when we first met, the owners, they were just looking for retailers, and we were just a retailer. And then they got an opportunity to see some of our work and see my shop and see what we were up to, and they kind of started to get their imagination going. So we kind of started working a kind of a deal, and we've been selling quite a bit of the Elektra. It has been selling well. I mean, it's not our only brand by any means, but it does sell well in the store. And that being said, I started building some enclosures for them, and I started playing. And like, we do have a lot of test equipment here, more than most shops, so we are able to really fine tune our enclosures. And we were interested in starting to produce. That's going to keep us alive. We are known for our big crazy fab, but it's hard to pay bills on those big jobs. And our prefabricated enclosures are definitely our long-term goal. So it was going to be a focus. So they kind of worked hand in hand. And once we start working on some designs and getting the CAD and getting all the files built, now that we have some decent offerings, I can with confidence sell. We typically have 2 offerings for every pickup truck right now. And we do have some, hatchback and SUV offerings as well. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to comment right here, and that I know, and I think a lot of our viewers and dealers know about the level at which you fabricate. So I'm pretty excited to see what you have when you put your creative juices to work to match them with this gear. So I think we have a video. Let's roll the tape on this and learn about the enclosure offering. So just for the record, Bryce, you will never hear me complain about your Macross Robotech Gundam style. Just so you know. Ever.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Pretty slick. So let's talk about these enclosures for a second. So there are some other options in the industry when it comes to ordering, a custom, we'll call it a custom perfect fit, under seat enclosure for pickups. That's what we're talking about, right?
Right.
At least where you're starting. Now, these enclosures, are you building these enclosures specifically with Elektra product, or is this another venture where customers could also contact you for other brands? I just want to make that designation.
Okay. So yes, we are going to be focusing on offerings for many different drivers. So that is our long-term goal. And we already have some offerings ready. We're just about ready to push that market. That being said, the Elektra enclosures are ready to go today. Because we have access to all the woofers and the amplifiers, we've already done the testing. We've already tuned the enclosures. We've already got the ports built properly. All the designs done. So, the designs are done first with the Elektra products. So they're ready to ship today. So, long term, yes, absolutely. Like, we are going to be having pre-manufactured enclosures built with our design cues, what we focus on. There's many different offerings out there. There are companies that love putting half-inch particle board and hot glue and calling that an enclosure. And there's other companies that strive for very high trim levels and stuff like that. And we walk sort of a different line. A lot of our enclosures are 1 inch or 1.25 inch construction. They're very overbuilt. They focus on in-vehicle performance. So we do in-vehicle testing, how it affects the FS woofer, the driver, the port. All our ports will always have no noise or very little noise. I mean, we always shoot to have very much similar to, the design cues of large manufacturers that focus on proper size ports and stuff. So our enclosure would never be a compromise. If we feel that if a customer wants 3 of the big, huge 12s and a port enclosure under the seat of a vehicle, we're not going to offer it because it's not going to perform, and there's no way you're going to get a port that doesn't whistle. So we're going to make sure that it's proper and perfect as best as possible. So that's kind of our focus. Our design cue is maximum output with sound quality in mind, but with an SPL flavor and also overbuilt. And Canadian sourced lumber. We changed vendors just to have Canadian lumber in the enclosures. We changed the vinyl we're using to a really high abrasion level vinyl, so that long term, 5-6 years, is still going to look great. We use the most expensive wood glue that you can buy. All our acrylics and stuff are all UV rated, so everything's overbuilt for sure. But that being said, we're still meeting a very aggressive price point, so I feel like the combination of the two is good.
I need to comment on this. I want to encourage people to contact you, especially for this portion of the and not to discredit anything else, but this I feel is very unique in the sense that, dude, this is a Canadian brand. You're a Canadian fabricator, Canadian footprint, building stuff here with local resources, like shipping alone, duties. When you're talking about these big enclosures, these are big, bulky, heavy items. And if you're in Canada, I would definitely encourage you to cross-reference the pricing at the very least with what Bryce has to offer here. I think he can also work with you very tightly for any custom or any details as far as finish or plexi or lighting or any of those type of options. Now, help us understand what the offering is. Is it a pre-made, all ready to go base? Can you customize? What is the procedure?
So in the SW loaded enclosures, which are the entry level, they're mostly carpet with a little trim panel that does have the logo and branding. That being said, Elektra is authorized that if our enclosures are sort of a vehicle to sell the Elektra brand, and we want to make sure that they understand that it's kind of a thank you, being able to have a special thing for your store. So we are going to include the option to have store branding on the enclosures. So if you would rather forego the Elektra brand and you want to promote your own store, that is an option. And we have that option on some of the fuse holders and distribution blocks. They can come pre-branded with your store. So we are trying to help build the brand. And just real quick touch on, a lot of the stores always preach buying local, but then behind the scenes they're going elsewhere. And I would like to say that, if you are the type of store that is telling your customers to shop local and support Canada, I mean, when you buy products from us, the gas in the tank goes in the owner's car that drives the show is all Canadian. Like every ounce of the money is staying here, other than a bit of manufacturing, because obviously, unfortunately, we've pushed our manufacturing away, and there's just not options. But I mean, that being said, we are actually exploring manufacturing some of the electronics here in Canada. We are exploring that option, and we're pretty confident that it might be an option for next year. So imagine being able to buy a Canadian-made piece of electronics to be pretty unique.
Imagine that, eh? That'd be crazy. Yeah. Okay. Great job on the enclosures. I really look forward to seeing more of those in different trucks and hearing some feedback on that. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's close down the show with giving some key messages to take away, Bryce. Let's talk about the line. I'm a new dealer. I just watched the show. I heard your spiel. You know what? I'm interested. What would you recommend I start with? Like kind of like an opening order to get things going.
Well, you know what? It's best, like, if you have entry-level clientele that are very value-minded. The SW line of woofers and our entry level or our amplifiers, all our amplifiers are, I think our big 4500 is like, it's like 20 cents a watt retail. Like you're not going to go wrong. All the amplifiers are very, very cost effective. So that would be a great focus point because you're getting a quality amplifier that has a lot of protection circuitry, that's easy to install, that has built-in clip lights, and makes it really expedite the amount of time it stays in the bay. So that is a great product. The SW woofers, some of the interconnects and the wire, especially if you're a store that's looking for a place to make some money. My cutaway segment didn't get included. But this little guy here, this is our dead sound, extra thick, pure butyl, and an extra thick top sheet. And I just wanted to see, you can see the embossing in the camera. That embossing helps make the install a little quicker because it rolls around corners better.
Show it again, Bryce. Put that up again.
Okay.
Let's really get a good shot at. There you go.
So you see how it's deeply embossed? Well, that really helps the install because when you go around corners, you don't get tearing and then you don't get sticky spots, especially under carpet and stuff, where you end up with sticky spots and the carpet sticks down and it makes a mess. So it makes the install better. And our cost on dead sound means that you don't actually skip over the install process. You don't have to, I sold this dead sound, but it's super expensive. So I'm going to try to convince my installer to do me a favor and do it cheap and, cut some labor. It leaves enough in the install that you could say include install, do the install at the full price and still be competitive and still have a competitive price, but then keep some money in the store. Don't throw it away. So, and the wires actually, we use a lot of it. If I have a customer that has concerns about solid copper wire or has things, I say, we address some of all the corrosion issues because of my experience in the oil field. I learned the techniques to prevent that. But that being said, it is a great way of getting those accessories sold in store. I mean, we're all competing with those big online retailers that are 2 clicks away from being delivered right to your door, and we have to do something. So I think it's really important that our retailers keep our wire and our accessories in stock because that's your quick turnaround is having things in stock. The only thing faster than those guys that deliver door next day is having it in your store the same day, and that keeps the money in the store, right?
Fair enough. All right. So now I'm going to pick your brain. Pick 2, maybe 3 unique features that really represent your brand that you want the dealers to remember, the takeaway.
The 3 ways. An FS of 820 by 830 in a tweeter, an FS of 120 in a mid-range. And for those who don't understand why I keep talking about FS, because like Brian Schmidt in his courses, he says himself, if you see a woofer that has a 30 hertz FS and a 10, you know how it's going to sound. It's going to sound smooth and it's going to play the low notes. And it's going to perform in a good enclosure, And anyone can build a cheap speaker to have a high FS. It takes engineering to get that FS down low. And so those speakers sound like the technical data shows. They sound smooth and clear and loud, and you don't need a bunch of EQ curve to make them sound good. Don't need a bunch of time tuning. They sound great just as they are. The reference 8, I can't stress enough. I don't know how many customers we've sold them to, and they said, I don't want an 8, I want real bass. And like our RAM enclosure that has the 3 reference 8s loaded in it, one of our customers had to go back to the dealer because he moved his sunroof while they were playing, and a really low note came on, and it actually had to have the sunroof reset. So I mean, it's over 142 decibels in the RAM with those 8s. How can you go wrong? For a prefab,
That's just pounds. Period. There's nothing else to say other than that. All right, now I'm gonna peek into the mind of Bryce Lewis. You've been a sound cue expert your entire life. You're an advanced level fabricator. How do you feel that these products overall, whether it's the Elektra product or the SQ product, how do you feel these products will execute the performance that you're looking to achieve overall with the level of standard that you have?
The 3 ways look and sound like an expensive speaker. So if you're doing a high-end build, like we've done a few high-end builds with the 3 ways, and customers are like, no, I want to spend more. I want a really good sound. And that's the worst part about the 3-ways and the coaxials. They sound so much better than they're priced at that people are apprehensive. They're like, no, like I want good speakers. I'm like, I wouldn't sell them to you if I thought they were going to come back in a week. I'm not going to build a custom A-pillar for a speaker that you hate. And we do have it on soundboard, so people can listen, so that does help. But you know what? The fact of the matter is that the amplifiers, they do install clean. They're easy to install. They're reliable. The 3-ways belong in a nice install. And I think that's kind of what your question is getting at is like, this product, does it belong in a high-end build? Because it is kind of an entry-level product. And yeah, the answer is absolutely. Don't let the price fool you. Like, they will outperform a lot of European brands that are out there that, they will outshine them, almost all the way to the top. It's quite awesome. So I think that, and the subwoofers, the reference subwoofers, if you're the type of guy that builds really nice enclosures and stuff, you'll love them. They're easy to tune with. And the 10 has a pre-broken FS of 33 and a broken FS of 28 in a 10. Like, that 10 plays all day, every day down low. So
I have to say that, I'm going to give you a fist pump there because your A-pillars are sick, bro. Sick. Just wanted to say that. Because you said A-pillars. I had no choice but to mention that.
Well, so, and that being said, with the prefabricated enclosure, any of our dealers get in soon. And that being said, we're not going to sell the heck out of it, and it's not a pressure sale, but we want we have stock now. We want to continue to stock our dealers. We're not interested in opening up 40 dealers and then selling 10 pieces to each. We want to have 5 or 6 select dealers across the country that are going to have inventory to lean on the whole time and not be left in the cold. That's one of the things we really want. I mean, it'd be easy to just sell a bunch of stuff all over Canada and then have no inventory, but no, we want our deals to be successful. And our 3-ways will have a prefab option coming up. So very special construction, something no one else is doing. And they're going to be for shops that have very limited tools. You can still do a custom 3-way. That's how it's going to come. Is very, very easy install. So
awesome. Well, if you're interested and in anything that Bryce has been talking about, what we've been discussing today, you want to check out Canasound.com. That's kind of like the master website where it will lead to everywhere else that you want to go, whether it's Elektra or Canasounds. That's where you want to be. And more importantly, if you're interested in getting some more information to become a dealer, well, you want to get a hold of Bryce and his team. Facebook.com/lastresortfab. Can't miss his Facebook page. Bryce is literally on there all day. So go ahead and message him. He does not bite. Bryce, I don't know what to say, man. Congratulations. It's definitely in order. I wish you the best of luck with this new exciting endeavor. Some pretty interesting and unique features. And again, I can't give you enough props for, putting that local, buy local, Canadian lumber, all those, key words that really mean a lot to me and many others. So thank you so much for coming on today and presenting.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. Thanks.
All right, that was Bryce Lewis, owner of Last Resort Fab, and also the Western manager for sales, as well as, you heard it, training, etc., for these new brands in both Elektra Mobile Audio as well as Canasound. Now, this is a flip. We're at a turning point. We just spent all month talking about DSP. Moving ahead, we are switching gears, and we are going to dive into source units. That's right. Our very next session is the source unit sessions, which will be going right through to Thursday, August 11th. Learn all about the great brands involved in source units. Man, it's been a rough and tumble last 2 years for source units, but I feel like we're coming back out of the depths and got a lot of great new product to talk about. Also, man, talk about source units. We've got an awesome contest for you guys to sign up. It's coming to you from the folks at Kenwood. It's your chance to win a brand new Kenwood Motorsports dual cam system. All you got to do is head over to our Facebook page at CMA Networks and follow the 3 easy steps. We are drawing the winner on August 31st during our next round table show. Get on over there. It's a contest open to Canadian retailers only. Last but not least, make sure you visit our website, cmanetworks.com. If you like this video and every other video that we've done, make sure you search for your favorite brand or by category or maybe your favorite trainer. We've got a video that you should be watching. Thanks for tuning into this CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about
Stop
today. Today we're gonna go
Yo,
topics.
roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?